Hey y'all, it's Kim again. So, some little sweet angel put all of Mackenzie Shirilla's incident reports from Juvenile on a Reddit site. I've got a whole slew of things that I wanted to share, but this is just so that maybe the parole board will see she's not ready for parole. But here we go. So, this is from January 30th, 2023 at 6 p.m. And then reporting staff is Jefferson, whoever that is, and the report or responding manager is Hart. So she has a disruption of facility operations. No use of force, no weapon was involved, no room confinement, and no mechanical restraints. Let's see, Mackenzie Shirilla, and then her birth date, and then unit pod bed, so 3A2, and then female. Let's see, Shante Davis, maybe, is the reporter. Let's see what she did. At the above time and date, resident Shirilla was observed harassing residents and staff with grievous threats. What? Maybe she's saying grievous threats. All day, I observed resident Shirilla with a negative attitude. Ortiz, the facility and facility operations. Hold on. It looks like Ortiz right there, stating she's not eating 25-cent meat. The chef from the cooking class was not a real chef. He mixed chicken tenders and fries, and her chicken was pink. Resident claims she is a no is on a no meat diet. When she ate it, residents rushing younger resident during bathroom what? And shower time, something like that. It's hard to read this. So resident Shirilla also gets attitude and mad when things don't go her way. Resident also stated she's going to get staff fired for doing their job and bragged on how many grievances she wrote. Resident constantly antagonized residents and staff with grievance threats if we say no to request or that she has to wait. Resident told another resident she was only going to shower on shower A and she would like to go first. I advised her someone else requested before her and that she would have to wait until they're done. She threatened to write a grievance. Oh my God. I advised resident that she is free to write a grievance, but she cannot bully people into doing what she wants. So that's number one. Let's see here. So this is Jefferson again. There's a bunch of stuff here. Let's see. Provide a detailed description of post-incident actions. So something, I don't know what this mod, I don't know what that says. At 9:30, at this point, the resident was in bed, something. I can't read that. So this is from the same day. And then M. Phelps is the one who took care of it. No additional actions needed. All right, let's keep going. And this is from Plunder True Crime on YouTube. She pulls a lot of body cam stuff. So here's narrative information. On Monday, February 27, 2023, 3A was in the small gym and resident Shirilla was standing up against the wall with a broom doing an exercise the gym instructor had her doing. Resident redacted and a few other residents were standing by her. Resident Shirilla came by me and told me that resident redacted was trying to fight her from what happened the night before. This is so hard to read. I do, hold on. D.O. Stearns, maybe, asked resident redacted to come here, and she did. Resident redacted then walked back by her and acted like she was going to swing on her. D.O. Stearns, I guess, called, I guess, the manager on duty, Novell. These are hard to read. To escort me, hold on, with traveling. I don't know what the hell she's writing here. No, back to the unit and so with the residents. Once we got in the school area, resident redacted and redacted had words, and resident redacted got in her face. These are hard to read. Like she wants to fight her. Idio Stearns, I guess, told all the residents to do a reset, and we went back on the unit until everyone calmed down for safety and security. So, what does that have to do with her? All right, so school, I don't know what this is. Small gym and school area. Okay. So Stearns and then Neville. That's who those were. It's hard to read some of this crazy stuff. So Shirilla, the victim, and then this is the victim. I guess that's the offender. So this really isn't against her, it's against the other person. So incident location has been redacted and Cantor and then Kuznick. Oh, contraband. Let's see. Use of force? No. Weapon involved? Yes. Room confinement? No. And then medical or mechanical restraints? No. So, Mackenzie Shirilla, what does she do? She is, no, she's a witness on this one. 3A2. Okay. Cantor and then Bob. Bob? Is that what it is? Yeah, this girl does not ever need to get out of prison. She can't do right. I saw this resident with a pencil. Redacted resident was told she was not to have a pencil. Yeah, I mean, you're not allowed to have it. If they tell you no, that means no. Okay. So then when I saw Mackenzie in medical after her trip, I noticed she had her little notebook and mechanical pencil with her. I spoke with her and told her she is not permitted to carry a pencil around as it is a weapon and contraband. So if they told you no, you're just not allowed to have it. It may be simple to most people. They told you no. Okay. I've had this conversation with her before, obviously. She's been in this facility for months and knows the rules. For this reason, Mackenzie needs an appropriate consequence for dangerous contraband. Yeah. And just like her mom was like, oh, they were just little simple things. It was no big deal. But if they told you no, you're not allowed to have it. And that's why she acts the way she does, because the parents, like, enabled her and coddled her and let her do whatever she wanted. Anyway, this is from February 28, 2023. And while we're leaving, redacted, the resident Mackenzie Shirilla have a pencil with her. Redacted resident was told by staff, Mr. Bob or Babe, I don't know how you say that, you are not supposed to have a pencil. And then manager McCusnick was notified. Kuznick, something like that. So Bob and Kuznick. All right, so this is March 1st. She can't do right. She's constantly in trouble. Beck and then whoever this is. And then House 3, Pod A, contraband. So use of force, no. Weapon involved, no. Room confinement, no. Mechanical restraints, no. Let's see. Mackenzie Shirilla, she was the offender here. What'd she do? I don't know this name. Vic. Okay. On the above said date of March 2023, a routine search was conducted on House 3, Pod A. The following items were discovered and seized, and obviously this was redacted. And then, Shirilla Mackenzie, number 2, cubby box, 1 red and white Santa hat 2 pencils, 1 wood Christmas tree, 2 plastic rings, 36 oil pastels in box, 4 pair of socks, 1 purple, 1 multicolor, a Santa, and 1 Christmas tree paper, 28 books issued by her mother, and all items placed in residence property. So I don't see how that's contraband. Okay, routine search conducted on House 3, Pod A. They were probably just doing the, like they say, routine, but not really seeing that being a problem. Okay. Okay, so 3-1 again, 23. This is at 12 p.m. So House 3, Pod a threat to a resident. So use of force, no. Weapon involved, no. Room confinement, yes. Mechanical restraints, no. Let's see. Okay, so Mackenzie was the victim this time. Is this where they were going to stick the broom up her butt like she was talking to her mom about on one of the things? So on Wednesday, March 1st, 2023, D.O. Stearns was playing cards with residents. Resident redacted got upset at resident Shirilla because her cards got flipped over and threatened resident Shirilla and said, "You acting like I won't slap the F out of you," and some other threats. IDO Stearns gave this resident a timeout. Okay, so that's not really that big a deal. She was just threatened. Advised of this matter, the expectations given to both residents. Shirilla also threatened to hit redacted with the broom. Oh, well, she's trying to go after somebody else. Okay. So a threat to a resident. This is 317. So what, like 16 days later? Let me put my jacket on. It's getting cold in here. Stearns and Beck. So they're constantly having issues with this little girl. Oops. Sorry. This little thing keeps making noise. Okay. So use of force, no. Weapon involved, no. Room confinement, no. Mechanical restraints, no. So, of course, Mackenzie's the victim again. Let me scoot back here. All right. Stearns is the officer on Friday, March 17, 2023. Residents. Oh, what was that? Hold on. I don't know what this is. I don't know. Something up on the day room to travel to the cafeteria to lunch. Resident Shirilla looked at Resident Redacted and said, "Dang, you're back." Resident Redacted replied, "Don't say nothing to me. I'm going to beat your ass for what you did or said." Audio Stearns asked Resident Redacted what that was about, and she said someone told her that when she left from the previous time, that resident Shirilla says she didn't deserve to go home. Oh, huh. Wow. She's talking noise while she's in prison. And if you remember the video of Tyler Proctor, he said she was basically like a snake. There's another threat to the resident. This is about a month later, 416. So this is Leslie Cates or Gates, and then Murphy. Use of force, no. Weapon involved, no. Let's see. Room confinement, yes. And then mechanical restraints, and then modification, I guess, is a talk to the resident. Woohoo. Okay, so so I don't know who did what, but Mackenzie's name was involved. Okay. Leslie, is it Oates or Gates? And then L. Stearns, and then Warren. At about 6:40 p.m., residents redacted, and redacted were involved in a verbal altercation with residents Shirilla and redacted. Per Shirilla and redacted, these residents were threatening to jump them tomorrow in the school area or pod. Pod B was, hold on. plan on. I don't know what that means. Don't know what this word is. I can't read that. Played on, I don't know. Oh, pod B was placed, oh, now I see it, placed on a reset for 15 minutes, after which residents had I don't know, had an hour for something transition. I don't know, due to safety and security. This is so hard to read. Whoever's writing this doesn't know what the hell they're doing. Due to safety and security, the mod was notified and spoke with the youth. The residents appear to be still upset and threatening. Okay. So she's being threatened by other people. Okay. So this is the action that was taken. Ahmad Murphy, like manager on duty, I guess, was informed of the situation on House 3, Pod B, and the residents were placed on half and half due to, I don't know, safety and security. I explained to the residents why they had to go in their rooms for the next group could come out. The resident Shirilla and redacted one of the other residents that allegedly threatened them. I explained that those residents have not assaulted them. However, we could keep them separated at this time. Yeah. Wow. So this is another one on April 21st. Good grief. So this one's failure to comply with the rules and regulations. So use of force, no. Involved, no. Room confinement, no. And then it didn't mention anything here about mechanical restraints. So Shirilla is the offender. Let's see what she did. T. Kent is the officer. On the above said time and date, upon the arrival from the phone room, D.O. Bolden began to search pod 3 to go back onto the pod. When D.O. Bolden began the search, resident Shirilla had approximately 4 small books in which she said were phone books. Unfortunately, those are the same books that unit manager Beck gave her a directive to not travel with. When D.O. Bolden searched her, the books came out of her pants along with candy. I don't know what she's saying here. Activities, what? Kent came to, I don't know, whatever this is, came to Pod B to explain about carrying on their person during traveling and the consequences. Level drop and incident report in order, and then see camera. Dummy. What an idiot. And then resulted given a warning. A resident's given a warning. These people don't know how to write. Okay, so this is 4/22/2023. And then it says short staff. What does that have to do with anything? Boxler, maybe, and then Curry. So use of force, no. Weapon involved, no. Room confinement, yes. And then mechanical restraints. So it doesn't even have people's names on there, not even Mackenzie. Let's see what this says. Lack of staff, residents on rotation. What? What does that have to do with anything? It's just something stuck in there. Okay. So this is 4/22/23, 7 a.m. Bolden and then Curry. And then Mackenzie's named here. And then it's an other for her. All right. So she's got a group of, looks like black females. And she's the one white girl in this. But what does she do? Not that it matters. I'm just saying that what does that have to do with anything? Why are they even adding this in there? So more. So I guess they're doing a check lack of staff, residents on rotation. I don't know what that means. So they're checking, I guess their bed checks. So they're doing it supposedly every 15 minutes. Okay, so here's another one, disruption of programming. So this is 4/27 of 2023 at 10:05 a.m. So use of force, no. Weapon involved, no. Room confinement, no. And mechanical restraints. So Mackenzie Shirilla is the offender. Surprise, surprise. Okay. On the above said date and time, an incident report is put in place to document the behavior of resident Mackenzie Shirilla. Resident Shirilla has been a resident of the Cuyahoga County Juvenile Detention Center since November 4th, 2022. She was placed in medical, then moved to House 3, the female unit. At that time, I guess acting director Kent, whatever, was an active detention officer where I was staffed on her pod numerous times. Resident Shirilla has always had issues with her stay, asking for things that we are not to provide her at the facility. I would constantly talk to her and something trying to help her understand that the things that she asked for isn't things that the facility would allow. Examples, bringing her things to shave her legs. She has constantly complained about the cafeteria food and it shows she didn't want, hold on, something about, and how she didn't want to eat the dog food that the cafeteria cooks. You're in jail, honey. You don't get to order them around. There are so many accommodations given to her that the other residents do not receive. There is a cooking program, Edwin's, that was a part of their programming during the months of January and February of 2023, where resident Shirilla ate all types of meat and also food, hold on, containing meat products. There was never, hold on, an issue about her feeling ill at any, I don't know, at any of any sorts, I guess. The resident Shirilla want to have things that she feel should be an accommodation for her. She goes to due process with their grievances and what, I don't know what that is. Resident Shirilla stated that she doesn't eat meat but can eat meat products during a house. I don't know what that is either. Doing a movie night, excuse me, on 4/26/2023, approximately 7:30 to 7:45 p.m. She was given an accommodation to fit her medical requirements. She was upset because the medical accommodation that she requested, or about it, or because of it, I don't know. Resident Shirilla has had really, behavior, hold on, discipline that resulted in another resident throwing a Chromebook at another resident. Oh my gosh. Hold on. Discipline. Excuse me. Behavioral. I don't know. Displayed this. I don't know. That resulted. Yeah. At another resident, she was allowed to make rolls for the resident, shower towels, underwear rolled up. where she was sending notes to another pod. Oh my goodness, from other residents, and which resulted no mixing of pods. And then, oh my God, once again, had conversations with the resident Shirilla about her behavior and what can come from her behavior. Resident Shirilla continues to write grievances against things and situations that doesn't fit. Hold on, let's see. This is just a continuation, doesn't fit. Oh, what she wants. I verbally notify both you and Beck and Wainwright about said behaviors. As a staff that advocates for children, in my professional opinion, resident Shirilla is not being treated unfairly with no prejudice. This behavior is also causing the other residents to be upset because they are not receiving the same accommodations. This is not retaliation of any sort, nor the act of unfairness. So that's what they're writing up against her. I'm sure her mom, Natalie's over there. My Mackenzie's being mistreated. Can y'all make sure she gets everything she wants? And if you've ever watched AG Tactical, he does like the best impression of Natalie Shirilla. Oh my gosh. So May 10th, 2023 at 1:26 p.m. This is a 3B day room. Here's more contraband. Jeez. So no use of force, no weapon involved, no room confinement, and no mechanical restraints. So let's see. So Mackenzie Shirilla, the offender. Let's see. S. Beck is a reporter. On May 10th, 2023, at approximately 1 p.m., a routine search was done on House 3, Pod B. During the search, I discovered $1.10 in resident Mackenzie Shirilla's cubby box. Inside an opened letter. Shirilla also had 2 pieces of chewed up gum stuck to her room wall. That's kind of stupid, but okay. You're not supposed to do that. And then contraband turned into due process. I mean, these aren't like super major things, but it's still just a pattern of disrespect and not doing what you're being told to do. May 25th, 2023, 9:08 a.m. Stearns and Beck as a reporter, House 3, day room. A threat to a resident. Use of force, no. Weapons involved, no. Room confinement, no. And then mechanical restraints, no. So, Mackenzie Shirilla is the victim. Oh, poor Mackenzie. No, Mackenzie. We don't want you to get beat up. Anyway, I'll shut up. On Thursday, May 25th, 2023, residents were preparing to travel to school. Resident Shirilla was using the blue phone, and resident redacted walked over and threatened her and said, "Why were you laughing yesterday? If you laugh again, I'm going to beat your..." Resident redacted, instigated, and says she's speaking in codes on the phone. Oh, with that language that she speaks. Stearns advised of this matter and expectations were given. Okay. So Phelps, this was just when it was taken care of, no additional actions. Okay, 5/29, 2023, 7 a.m. So exigent, I don't know what that means. CIRM, I don't know. Use of force, no. Weapon involved, no. Room confinement, yes. Let's see. And then medical was no. Mechanical restraints, no. Okay, so Mackenzie, she's just an other. This may be just them doing their counts again. Safety and security. Oh, they were locked down because of that. Let's see. Oh my God, who wrote this? MOD spoke with youth uh something. And then room pod 3B or whatever, several youth continued to make threats to cause physical harm to one another. And then something released from room. Oh my gosh. Confinement. Youth will remain, this person's left handed, on room confinement due to a continued threat to the operational or operations of the facility. Sorry, I couldn't read that. I bet that person's left-handed. They're doing this number here, going over the top with the letters. That's just what I think. Okay, so they're doing more. Okay, exigent circumstances, observational. Okay, so they're doing like room confinement and then doing bed checks, making sure they're where they're supposed to be. So let's see. These people are not in their rooms at the time. Let's see what it says. 5:30, 2023, 7:48 p.m. Youth on youth assault and the threat to a resident. It says fighting. So use of force, yes. Weapon involved, no. Room confinement, yes. Mechanical restraints, no. So it says offender and then victim. Why was she pulled into this? Oh, Mackenzie, she got beat up. Sorry. Maybe it didn't. Maybe it was just like a threat to a resident. Let's see what it says down here. Why'd they write her name again? Okay. So Stearns is the reporter. Okay, so on Tuesday, May 30th, 2023, alert was called on resident redacted smacked President Shirilla on the back of her neck. Resident redacted started running and then pushed her. Resident redacted kicked her door shut and started grabbing the wall, refusing to go in her room. Well, that's against Mackenzie, so let's see. Once I arrived, redacted was being escorted into her room. Once the door was closed, medical was called. Okay. So let's see here. Cameras reviewed. Okay. So they had to check the cameras on this one. Okay. So Cuyahoga detention, secondary responder. Okay, 5:30 of 2023, 7:48 p.m. House 3P or 3B pod, excuse me, on approximately 7:48 p.m. May 30th, 2023. Resident redacted 3B01 hit resident Shirilla 3B06. DO Stearns called an alert. Activities, Kent, I guess juvenile activities, maybe what they're saying, assisted her with escorting the resident to her room. The mat was removed, and maybe her mat was removed, and alert was cleared. So here's 5:30, 2023. Okay, this is the same thing, just probably rewritten from another person. It's the same. We're almost done with this one. There is another one for her adult stay. Just saying. Yeah, this is the same. It's just a copy of it. I mean, you can stop the video, slow it down. Yeah, this is still the same. So they wrote it 3 different times. Okay, so this is 6/26 of 2023, 8:26 p.m. M. Compton and something Wentz or Murphy, something like that, 3A. So we have a threat to a resident, use of force, no. Weapon involved, no. Room confinement, yes. And then no mechanical restraints. The victim, Mackenzie Shirilla again, and then this person's the offender. Wow. So, while on House 3, Pod A, I, detention officer Mackenzie Compton. I think that's what it says. Witness resident redacted. Threatened resident Mackenzie Shirilla, yelling, "I don't give a F. I'll smack the F out of her." Why? I had walked out of the pod around 8:20 p.m. to grab some kind of supplies. Oh, cleaning supplies for hold on. For something. For something and heard yelling. When I turned around, resident redacted was in resident Shrilla's face yelling, "You ain't safe. You ain't safe. You ain't safe." Officer Salam or Salem, I don't know, had walked resident redacted across the pod, and I ran back over to the pod. I told resident redacted to go into her room, and she refused, stating that she didn't do anything. I told her. She threatened resident and walked up on her, so she's done for the night. She was still refusing to go in, so I called the alert. We were able to walk her into her room eventually, and the alert was, I guess, canceled or cleared. While in her room, resident redacted, "Yo, Mackenzie, you're getting effed up tomorrow. I can something. I can, I don't know. I'm I'm slapping you so hard you cry like redacted did." She then tried to manipulate the residents into turning something, a TV down or off, to get the girls turned up. I directed the girls to resume programming. Then resident redacted, then threatened myself, yelling, "I better not see you on this pod again. You better not come over here again." She then began banging on the door and yelling that she had to pee. I told her she had needed to calm down and wait for the other residents to go up before she could come out. She then asked for a grievance, and I had a resident give her two of them. Resident redacted then continued to bang and scream, telling me a white ass, hitch, a effing white cunt, and not to come on the what? On the pod at 8:50. An alert was called on 3B. I notified manager Hunt, maybe, of the situation, and he stated she is not to be let out until all other residents go up for her bathroom break. One, hold on. Once all residents were up, Officer Mehmet let her use the bathroom, and she went back in. Resident redacted has confirmed, uh, continue, excuse me, to bang on the door and threaten staff throughout the shift. Damn, I thought I had bad handwriting. Okay, once I arrived to the alert, I asked redacted to step something, step here from her room. I don't know. These people do not know how to write. Okay. And then due process, whatever, Diane Rhodes. Okay. 620, 620, 23. Let me make sure. So this is somebody else, maybe another staff member. Merritt. It says, I witnessed MM redacted walk up on resident M. Shirilla saying that she was not safe on pod A. D.O. Compton walked on the pod and asked her to go in her room. Let's see, due to her being verbally aggressive and making threats to another staff, she refused up until MOD Hart something on the pod and asked staff to clear her room. She then walked to her room and stated that she was going to beat Shirilla's butt, basically. So she's getting threatened. She was getting threatened on that kid, well, the juvenile thing. 7/12 of 2023 at 7:30 p.m. This is reporting staff as Sykes and then Hart. So she's getting a bunch of threats. Rightfully so, whatever. A threat to a resident, use of force, no. Weapon involved, no. Room confinement, no. And the mechanical restraints, no. So the alert called is behavioral, and then there was no physical restraint apparently, or staff reporting injuries, no. So MM again, the offender and the victim is the same person doing it again. Sykes, Tierra, okay. On 7/12/2023, resident redacted, threatened resident Mackenzie Shirilla and stated she was going to smack the F out of her on Friday before she leave and go home. End of report. Okay, so Sykes, this information will be shared with the I guess, unit manager. Okay, 7/12/2023. Is this the same? 8:45. 3A middle area, threat to residents. Use of force, no. Weapon involved, no. Room confinement, no. Mechanical restraint, no. Staff reporting injury, no. So MM again. It's a different person, I think, this time because the birthday looks different. And then Mackenzie Shirilla, they put hers black on this one. Just saying. They just messed it up. Okay, Tierra, Sykes. Okay, at approximately 8:45, resident redacted, threatened resident. Mackenzie Shirilla, she will be next to get beat up in the end of the report. They're like, get this girl out of here. This information will be shared with the unit manager. Okay, the UM. So no additional actions required. 7/13 of 2023. 1:55 p.m. Stearns and Peck. House 3, Pod A, large gym. Threat to resident. Use of force, no. Weapon involved, no. Room confinement, no. Medical restraints, no. So this is Mackenzie Shirilla again with, I think, the same girl, 12406. Let's see what this one did. On Thursday, July 13th, resident redacted got into a verbal altercation with resident Shirilla. Resident redacted got upset with Shirilla and asked her why she was whispering about her. Resident redacted then said, if you write on the floor, I'm snitching on you. Resident redacted says, I don't get in trouble for pins, then says Kinsey has a pen and pulled the pen out of her shirt. Resident gave pen to the staff, and then resident redacted asked for Beck, so unit manager Beck, and Shirilla wanted to go back to unit on her room or in her room. When Beck arrived, resident redacted told Shirilla she will throw a pin at her and beat her. It's like, oh my gosh. Something placed on timeout to regroup. Okay, so residents, okay, placed on timeout to regroup. Okay, so a little bit more. So this is 8/5, so August 5th, 2023, 11:50 a.m. Beck and Beck, House 3, Pod A, contrabands. Use of force, no. Weapon involved, no. Room confinement, no. Medical restraints is no. So all of these people had contraband in their stuff, every single one of them, because it shows them all as an offender. I mean, these are young kids. She's like the oldest out of the group at this point. Mackenzie Shirilla, Beck, and O. Dawson. On August 5th, 2023, at approximately 11:50 a.m., a routine search was conducted on House 3, Pod A. During the search, the following items were found, and that's all been redacted. 3A, number 10, resident Shirilla, 3 Huggy Juice in room, 1 mechanical pencil found on a day room table, and gray and orange in color. So, whatever. Routine search conducted on House 3A, Pod A. No, excuse me, House 3, Pod A, contraband confiscated and turned into due process. I mean, whatever. You're not supposed to have it. So, whether it's a big deal or not, they told you no, you couldn't have it. So, you know, got to do what they tell you to do. Anyway, there's rules. But it looks like Mackenzie was getting threatened while she was in juvenile. But anyway, do we feel bad for her? Let me know what y'all think in the comments because I don't. Anyway, talk to y'all later. Bye.